If, like me, you have lots and lots of Lego sets on display, this is going to be a great little hack for you. These are Mosslanda shelves. They're from Ikea. They're designed for taking a picture from the frame. I've actually mounted them upside down, as you can see. So what we're going to do is we're going to add LED lighting. Now I do plan on having more of these shelves eventually, but for now we're just going to add some LED lights and show you how easy it is on this top shelf here. So LED lighting doesn't have to be very expensive. This set was bought from eBay and it was only a few pounds. Now there's 5 meters of white LEDs on this. In the shops this sort of thing will cost you around about £30, so you know, don't buy the stuff that you get from the mainstream shops, because they're literally just ripping you off, and you can do this very cheaply yourself. So this is what I ordered, which was LED strip. This is a non-waterproof type. It doesn't have a covering over it. As I say, it's 5 meters long and it's 12 volt. So here's what you get inside the package. Now the LED comes in this roll. You can see the LEDs there. Now what you can do is there's little marks here, and every 3 LEDs you can shop this cable, so you can change the length however much you want. So that's what we're going to do with our shelves. I guess you're asking how we're going to power this. Well, this can be done simply. All we need is a power supply. Now this is a kind of power supply that will come with many different items, and you can buy these. This is just a 12 volt power supply. This one's actually borrowed from an old battery charger. This connector can be brought with many of the LED strips, and it just plugs in like so. So what you do have to make sure is that you see this little symbol here. Now if I bring it in closer, just get this to focus. There we go. You can see that there's a plus symbol there and a negative symbol there. Now the plus on the inside means that the pole, which is the internal part of the plug, the inner section, is positive, and the outer section is negative. And that's what we need for this connector here. And I'll show you why we need this connector in a second. So I've just moved the light around a bit so we can see a little bit better. You can see here we have the positive symbol here and the negative symbol here. And we've got 2 screw terminals here and here. And these screw terminals will open and close on these points here. So if you can see, I've used this before. If I open these up, spring terminals open up. Wire in there. See, now what we can do is this. Now red is normally positive and black is normally negative. So we just pop those in like so, and then we tighten down. And the connection's made, and it's as simple as that. And all we need to do now is plug the power supply in, and our whole entire length of LEDs should light up. So I've now given the power supply main supply. So this is now 12 volt. So we'll plug this into the plug, and there we go. Our lights are on. So now we're going to go a little bit more in depth, and we're going to add these to the shelves. Now because I want to make these custom, I actually don't want this short piece of wire. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut at the cut point here. Now with on my shelf, I can work out how long I want them to be. So what I need to do is place it here and run it down to the other end, which you can't see in the shot. And it will actually reach perfectly end to end. So what I need to do is cut this one here. Maybe I'll take it back 3 just to give myself a little bit of room. And now we're ready to solder some wire onto this board. Now you could use this wire if you wanted to, but I want to have the correct length LEDs for my shelves, so that's why I'm custom making them. You can buy these LED strips in 1 meter lengths, pre-wired, so you don't have to do any soldering, and all you just do is add a plug. And obviously you can add 2 sets of wires to 1 plug. You may not want to go more than that because there's not much room in there for the wire to go into. So as I say, I'm going to add an extra bit of wire onto mine because I'm going to run it down the wall through a little bit of conduit and give it a nice tidy finish. So I'm just about to solder. So hopefully you can see the 2 little copper pads at the top here where we're going to solder to, and they've got marked 12 watt plus and minus, and again we are just going to solder the red to the plus and the black to the negative. Okay, so now I'm just going to tin the wire. Now you don't need a very expensive soldering iron for this, but you probably only want something like a 25 watt. You don't want to go too hot because the wires are quite small and the pads are quite small as well, so you're only going to need to do some very light soldering. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to tin the pads, and there you can see the solder. Let's get this into focus for you. The solder is taken to the pads, and now we're going to solder the wire to the pads. It looks a lot more hassle than it is, but I'm actually trying to keep it in the camera shot for you so you can see. So probably not the best wiring job there. I'm trying to do it for the camera, but you can see it's now connected. So what we'll do is we'll just connect the other end up to the power supply and make sure that they work. Moment of truth time. There we go. Excellent. So now we need to do that again for the second shelf. So now it's time to add the LEDs to our shelves. Now this is where you might want to experiment by having the shelves up first and checking where you want the light to be. You could even put it in here to angle the light. I'm actually going to run it along the edge here so that the light is shielded by this return. Now the easiest way of sticking this LED strip down is by removing the backing tape, as it is self-adhesive, and that's what we're going to do here. Here you can see it all in place. Now when the shelf is up and upside down, you won't be able to see this. Now you don't have to stop with just one LED strip. Because you've got the soldering points on the end of the tape, you can quite easily add another section of LEDs by just wiring the positive to the positive, the negative to the negative, and have a second section. You can even have it further apart. So there are lots of possibilities. So here you can see both shelves are ready to go. Let's go and put them back on the wall. So here we can see the shelves in place. We do need to work on the top section, as there isn't a shelf above it, the same as the others, but we can add some more LED lights later on. But as we add more shelves further down, the next shelf down will get light, and so on. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed that. You can see it adds lots more light to the models. Bye for now.